Hello again everybody, welcome back to Dark Souls 3. Before we head back to the rest of Undead Settlement, let's just quickly do some stuff like giving the handmaiden the ashes we found at the end of last video.
Gracious, passing fine ash thou'st given. Let this ash bestow nourishment. I only hope these new wares content thee.
She will now sell us some new stuff. Most importantly, this key here, the grave key. It'll allow us to open a door in the Undead Settlement that we couldn't open yet. But now we can, isn't that nice? And that she will always say the same thing if you give her ashes. Except for one bit of ashes where she'll say something different. But, you know, we'll get to that eventually. It's nothing too special anyway. Look at that, grey rat.
Heavens, she was already dead.
He seems to be, a bit sad. Now, thankfully, we get a nice gesture from him being really depressed. Though, I don't like him being depressed. Despite being a thief, he seems like a decent dude. But yeah, we've got the curl up like a ball gesture, which in Dark Souls 1 could only be triggered by just, you know, going into a bird's nest and pressing a button.
Well, hasn't it been some time? I'm Leonard, the Ring Finger. Remember me? I slipped you those red eyes some time ago. You're making quite an effort of it, so I thought you might like to know. If you yearn for a proper Red Eye Orb, one that is uncracked, then kill the Dark Wraith, survivor of the land swallowed by darkness. He has been a prisoner for many ages in the deepest cell in all Lothric. I can see it in your eyes. If you didn't invade, didn't pillage, whatever would you do?
So Leonhard here thinks that we have invaded somebody because we have a pale tongue in our inventory, which is also what you get if you win an invasion. And he gave us a key, which you might be able to guess what door that's for. Because we've seen it briefly, but we just didn't go there obviously because we couldn't. Anyway, let's just explore the rest of the Undead Settlement. There's one, not major branch, it's a rather brief one actually, that we didn't explore yet. Now if you jump back over here we just look down, we would have to fight the rats. Instead we can just walk over here. I say this specifically because a lot of people I've watched play just seem to ignore this fact. I mean, I suppose it's not immediately obvious, but it actually kinda is. And here we have a rather peculiar statue. If you're up on speed on your Dark Souls 1 lore, you will remember Velka as a goddess of sin. Oswald of Carim, who was hanging out on the top of the bell towers, or rather not quite at the top, but anyway, the point is he was worshipping her. She's kind of a goddess of sin. If you get cursed, you can get rid of the curse here, and you can also request dissolution. Well, what that means, let's just say I'll explain that a bit later. It's not even gonna be obvious to you even if you happen to be in need of it. Thankfully there's other ways to attain dissolution anyway. Oh yes, our good old friends the skeletons are back. Now, when I first came here, I got some Dark Souls 1 flashbacks, and I was afraid there would be like a necromancer or something here, which just constantly revived those skeletons until I found them. Thankfully, this is not the case at all. The easiest way to deal with those skeletons is to just kill them as they get up. You can pretty much reliably do that. As long as you pay attention to the bones that are underground. As soon as you hear a weird noise, you can just, you know, turn around to where those bones were and yeah, attack them a couple times. And boom, done. But that's already the end of this little crypt bit. No more skeletons for today. Sometimes down here you will find that evangelist dropping down from above if you walk down here a peculiar way. I've grinded on here a bit and it happened to be consistently on my route. What will always happen, because it's scripted to happen though, is this one. That guy, I mentioned it before actually, when we found him up top, that he will drop down if you go down here. But it's not a big deal because I only have trouble with the guys wielding their weird pots with corpse parts in them, and he will usually break that on his way down. Coming down here generally though is absolutely worth it, if only for the one Titanite shard. Because Titanite this early in the game is quite the commodity. And on my first playthrough, I just put a message here telling people to look up to see that corpse. It's probably my highest rated message, so I assume that a lot of people just missed that. And usually there's also messages here on top of that ladder telling you that there's an ambush ahead. There's quite a few rats here, kind of reminiscent of the Royal Rat Vanguard boss from Dark Souls 2, which was basically just a bunch of rats and then a special rat with a mohawk appeared. Yeah, that's not the case here, thankfully. You can just sprint through here if you want, not fight any of those. Of course, then you won't be able to pick these items up as easily, but you might not even need them. And this is kind of weird, because this ladder leads us to that cell that we could see from outside. You know where that Garl Vinland lookalike was hanging around? Anyway, let's talk to the Maiden Estraya lookalike.
Who is there? Is someone there? Anyone? Oh, please, whoever you are, touch me. The dark surrounds me, nibbles at my flesh. Little creatures, they never stop biting. So please, hold out your hand and touch me. Ah, yes, there you are. So close, indeed. Then I am not entirely alone just yet. Praise the merciful gods above. Oh, forgive me. I am Irina of Carim. I came to this land so that I might be a firekeeper. Your touch has freed me from the darkness. You are a champion, then? I am weak and unfit to tend the flames. But if it would not trouble you, might I enter into your service instead? Oh, thank you, sweet champion. I shall take my vows. I, Irina of Carim, solemnly swear to serve you.
Even though I don't think they actually look that similar, I think that those two are a reference to Maiden Estraya and Garl Vinland from Demon's Souls, which was one of the boss fights. One of the more interesting ones too.
You've gone and rescued her, have you? How very quaint. Pitying creatures that are beyond help. Very well. I'm sick of looking after her at any rate. I am Egon, a knight of Carim. I am allied to you for as long as you assure the girl's safety. And only for that long. What's the matter? My terms are very simple. I am allied to you for as long as you assure the girl's safety. And only for that long.
Okay, so I mentioned that the Undead settlement is freaking huge, like 1,000 times at this point. So let's just head to the end of it, because we've done everything there is to do in it, as far as I know. If somebody just now informs me that there's a different side path that I completely forgot about, then sure, sure, let me know. I'm gonna check it out. But I'd be surprised. The only stuff that could be left here is fairly minor, and the only place we haven't been to is down here. And there actually is a last challenge to overcome, a bit of a mini-boss, which is fairly tough actually. Now if you know what you're doing, of course, you shouldn't have too much trouble. But the thing is that this guy, just by being near him, can inflict frostbite on you. And frostbite, it slows down your stamina regeneration and takes away a bit of health. Which, you know, the health loss isn't really that annoying, and the stamina regen loss actually doesn't seem that bad either, but it can cause you a lot of trouble. But still, fighting him isn't too difficult, I say, as I get viciously beaten. As long as you get behind him at least. And as a reward we always get the Earthhill Straight-Sword, which kind of has a weird snowy, icy particle effect that I don't like. The weapon's a decent choice to switch to right now if you want, though you probably won't be able to upgrade it for a long while because it uses Twinkling Titanite. And by the time you do have the Titanite necessary, you probably won't need it anymore. Anyway, we're not done for now. There's still some more stuff that we want to do. Okay, now that we're here, we'll want to talk to Yol again, but first, since we just now rescued Irina, let's go to her first. She's right over here, the opposite end of the shrine as Yol. And she's actually a merchant that can sell us miracles, which, considering that we want to go kind of sort of faith route, should be useful to us.
Oh, Champion of Ash. Welcome back. I was not meant to be a firekeeper, but I am honored to serve you beside the bonfire. The gods are ever merciful. My gratitude lies with them and with you. I am yours now. Your wish is my command. You know, in my home of Carim, I was a nun. I would be pleased to share the tales of miracles with you. Although, to be honest, I only know a few. But if I had a divine tome, I could tell you many tales and more. Oh, only I cannot see. Terribly sorry, but you'll have to find me a divine tome in Braille. You know, in my eye, oh, terrible.
As I already said, she is a miracle merchant, but she also sells us this ring here, which grants us some attunement slots. And since miracles are mostly support spells, a lot of them won't really be useful to us. But we'll get them anyway, just in case.
Have a pleasant journey, Champion of Ash. I pray for your safety.
So her being a firekeeper is rather interesting, because we have a firekeeper right here. She is also blind, like Irina. But Irina, for some reason, can't be a firekeeper. Anyway, let's talk to Yol.
Oh, our champion of Ash. Welcome back. I would do anything for my master. Just say the word. Then shall we begin? Bearer of the dark sign, let your true strength shine.
So as we level up, the dark sign that he mentioned is actually something that every undead is branded with. All of the player characters from Dark Souls 1 through 3 actually are undead, and all of them have a dark sign in their inventory, which lets them return to the last bonfire rested at, or in case of Dark Souls 3, even to the Firelink Shrine, in exchange for all our souls. But it's vastly outclassed by Homeward Bones. Now, we actually do have dark sigils in our inventory. Now, put 2 and 2 together right here. We've leveled up twice with Yol, and you have 2 dark sigils. Now, every time we die while we have a dark sigil in our inventory, a not quite so hidden stat gets raised in our status screen. It's called Hollowing. And we get 1 point of Hollowing for every Dark Sigil. I died 4 times since the last time apparently, so I have 4 Dark Sigils. And since we want to level up some more, here's what I'll do. I'll just kill myself over and over and get some Dark Sigils. And now we have 4. The 5th we can get is the last we can get from him. And by the way, by increasing the hollowing stat, we actually do go hollow. Our skin shifts to a beef jerky mode like in Dark Souls 1. And we can't just level up with Yule as we please. We need to reach a certain level of hollowing before he'll give us another level.
Strength, shine. Ah, you have attained ample strength. All will soon be clear, my good lord. As I have said, but I'm weak, though. Be safe, our lord.
Once he gave us 5 levels, he will tell us that we have reached ample strength if you try to level up again. And this is our sign to reload the area. And yeah, this is what happened to our face. Now, since we have reloaded the area, let's head back to where he was and check out what happened. Oh. It appears that he has finally died as was ordained. And look at that mysterious figure.
Oh, prithee, art thou good Yole's master? I am Uria of Londor, a close friend of his. Thanks to thee, Yole's soul is redeemed. Allow me to express my gratitude in his stead. Another matter. Thou'rt a lord, art thou not? Bearer of the Dark Sigil, and our Lord of Hollows. For the time thou remainst our Lord, we of Londor shall serve thee. And I, of course, am also thine.
In addition to the stuff that Yole sold, she'll also sell us some unique stuff. One part she'll sell us is the Dark Hand, which is an item linked to the Dark Wraiths of Dark Souls 1. It's a shield that kind of distorts the, space in front of us and blocks, though it's a fairly bad shield actually. It does allow us to use the Art of Lifesteal though.
Till we meet again. May the Dark Sigil guide thee.
She also sold us a Londor Brile Divine Tome, which we could give to Irina, but I wouldn't do so. Anyway, Ray-Rat's back up on his feet.
Ah, there you are. I was thinking. You know I'm a petty thief. Well, perhaps I'll go on the prowl. Everyone's dead or hollowed away anyway, right? So I might as well fetch some weapons or treasure for you. Well, what do you say? Thank you. You will not be disappointed. Grey Rat the Thief was once a well-known name. Until I ended up rotting in a cell. Goodbye. I will leave for some time. So long for now. Do stay safe, you hear? Or my efforts will have been for naught.
So, while Grey Rat pillages in the Undead settlement, we will just go to the High Wall of Lothric to find that Dark Wraith that Leonhard told us about and gave us the key to access cell. Now, Dark Wraiths, in case you don't know, they are a PvP covenant in Dark Souls 1. They're essentially the regular, straight PvP covenant, the Red Phantoms. And they collect humanity. And they are linked to humanity and the Dark. They reside in the town of New Londo, which is flooded and essentially dead. And they guard the Abyss, which is just under the town. Now, in the Abyss resides Kath, who commands the Dark Wraiths. And according to his own words, is on the side of humanity and the darkness that is linked to them. And for whatever it's worth, I suppose, yeah, Kath is on the side of humans. However, Kath may also be lying. Kath may have his own agenda, for all we know. Anyway, it's time to meet the Dark Wraith. The Dark Wraith basically fights like an NPC. However, since he does have a dark hand, he can just, you know, steal your life, essentially. And he does wield the Dark Sword, which is a rather good weapon. Even after it got nerfed, it's still a very powerful one. Because it has a stomp, which, you know, the Dark Wraith just demonstrated. It stomped down, which granted it extra poise, or rather hyper armor, which made so the next attack couldn't be interrupted. But hey, as long as you know how to fight NPCs, the Dark Wraith shouldn't be a problem. And as a reward we get the full Red Eye Orb, which allows us to just invade people as we please. It's not a consumable, it can be used as many times as we want. But that's about it for today. Let's just sit down in this dark place and, you know, think about what we've just done. See you again next time.